Good evening and welcome to The Pulse. Later in tonight's show, are children with special needs getting the attention they need? And it doesn't happen often. A local documentary makes it to Hong Kong cinema screens. This one is all about man's best friend. The relationship between dogs and humans dates back to the late Upper Paleolithic period. That's between 17,000 and 14,000 years ago, in case you wondered. In Hong Kong and mainland China, more and more people are keeping domesticated canine companions. A new local documentary examines the relationship between dogs and their owners and provides as much an insight into people as into their pets.
Angie Chen directed several award-winning films in the 1980s as well as TV commercials. She began making the documentary This Darling Life 2.5 years ago, when her 16-year-old dog was dying. It's Hong Kong's first feature-length documentary to focus on the relationship between humans and animals.
I found that that emotion, you know, that sadness just somehow stayed with me, and it was the same emotion that I experienced when my mother died. So I started out to think that maybe I could examine this particular feeling of mine. We use the dogs as a conduit to examine us as human beings, you know, how exactly. It's really, at the end of the day, it is a story about the dogs, but it's really also a story about us.
It's rare for a locally produced documentary movie to make it to Hong Kong cinema screens. The filmmakers say they shot more than 200 hours of footage and met thousands of dogs and people during the production. They interviewed around 90 people whose stories they considered featuring. 19 appear in the finished movie.
I knew my mother was sick and I had to get back to England. I sent out an email. And it was amazing. I mean, people I'd never met said, I'll take a dog, I'll take 2 dogs. And I was able to go and be with my mother. You know, people are amazing.
如果人見到人咧一見鍾情啊，我同佢嗰剎那就係四目交投啊！我係一生一世會照顧你。
有陣時見到好好笑容嘅，同隻狗傾偈㗎，隻狗好明白㗎。因為佢俾我印象就係執嗰啲狗屎好乾淨嘅，就接到好似一份禮物咁樣，接得好靚好靚㗎。
好多人係會睇過，有啲人就望未來。其實我反而覺得冇乜人會注意而家，最緊要而家餅俾我，仲咪不嬲都行緊呢個 theory。
I'm from Hong Kong, you know, I live here. I love Hong Kong, and I think I've always thought that there are numerous stories in the city that are not told. So this is like a first step out. And when you think about it, you know, if you do a story about Hong Kong people, then you start to have to think about, okay, what theme, you know, what message, how I'm going to tie all the stories together.
It's a wonderful film and I really enjoy being part of it. It's made me see, I think, the best of people and the worst of people. Of course, you know, the abandonment of dogs. I think around 25,000 dogs a year are killed, officially killed, because nobody wants them. That's too many dogs for too few homes. And it's heartbreaking, you know, because I have to make the decision when I go to government kennels which dogs I take, and the dogs that I don't take are killed. And that's an awful, it's a terrible thing.
When you look at, there's so many suicides right now in the world, the war, you know, the violence, the killing of people, it's like, you know, where has our compassion gone? Whereas in this movie you see a lot of people with so much compassion. If we're capable of giving this love to the dogs and also to the people around us, then we are capable of this love to our whole universe.
This Darling Life will be released in Hong Kong cinemas early next month. 5% of its gross income will go to animal welfare organisations.
And that's about it for this week. Don't forget, you can catch this show and other episodes of The Pulse on the RTHK website. You can also go there to air your views on events in the public eye. We'll be back at more or less the same time next week. See you then. Good night.